Alright boys, we're back again with another video today, and today we're going to be testing Chang Li's weapon on everybody. We're going to be comparing to the Emerald of Genesis because obviously this is the next best option and people were able to grab it for free. So yeah, we're going to be testing it versus this weapon on every character that can use it. Now, I want it to be clear, the literal only difference between these weapons is skill damage. Just to be clear, it is only the skill damage. One gives skill damage, one gives energy recharge, same 12% attack. Now, I know you guys are wondering, but one has crit rate, one has crit damage. Now, I understand that, but the only thing that would change, you guys gotta remember, crit rate is worth double crit damage, so 24.3 would be 48.6 crit damage. If you go 24.3 crit rate, double it, the same crit damage. If you divide the crit damage by half, you're going to be getting the same crit rate. So these weapons are essentially the same. The only difference is that if you have a crit rate, you're going to want to look for like a crit damage mean stat echo, and if you have a crit damage weapon, you're going to want to look for a crit rate mean stat echo. Now, with that being said, we're going to be looking at these characters. These are all the ones we're going to be testing on in this video. Now we can see the percentage damage they do, their skills right here. As you can see, Danjin is 27.3. Spectre Rover is 43.2, Havoc Rover is 20.8, and Sanhua is 25.8. Now, I don't know the exact number for Chang Li. I know she's probably going to be doing at least 60 to 70+% of her damage as skill, but I do not know that for sure. So, I'm just going to leave it at a shit ton of damage. As for Yang Yang, I have no clue. All these stats I've been pulling, these numbers on screen, I took from Pridewin, and they don't have the Yang Yang one there. So, again, Pridewin is an amazing site. I'd 100% recommend y'all check it out if you want to see like stuff about Wither and Waves or even other gacha games. They cover them as well. So yeah, I'll leave their link to their site in the description of this video. Now with that being said, let's get on with the video. Oh yeah, well, before we move on, I wanted to make sure y'all understand. This is I'm going to be running this video assuming these characters are basically all being played main DPS because they need to have full stacks of Chang Li's weapon, right? So that's basically what I'm going to be basically calculating, right? So obviously for characters like Yang Yang and Sanhua that don't really play main DPS, they're not going to be able to get as much value out of it. Now let's talk about the Echo set. Now obviously these are placeholders. You're not going to be running a goddamn fire set on a non-fire character. These guys are images, are just placeholders for what you want to have with your Echo sets. As you guys can see, I've tried to be very fair with the crit value. As you can see, like 15% crit damage, that's the only thing rolled on this one. This guy only has 7.5 crit rate, and this guy only has 12.5 crit damage. As you can see, low rolls all around the goddamn board. As you can see, on the one cost are the only ones where I have more than one crit value. Just to be very fair, I'm also assuming you can roll 14% attack across all 4 echoes and get at least 30% skill damage across all echoes. Now, just to be clear, these guys are placeholders. You're not going to use, you obviously run your matching echo set, and the 30% right here is going to be your elemental damage. All right, now as you can see, the crit value that we're getting from all our substats is going to be 96. If you guys want to know how I got that number, add everything else, everything down bottom here together, and just remember when you're doing it, crit rate is worth double crit damage, or you're going to be crit rate is worth double crit damage. So for 6.5 crit rate, you have to do that twice. Same with all the rest of the crit rate. Now let's get right into the numbers. This is what it's going to be looking like. Now I will go through this one time just to make sure everybody can understand what I'm doing, and then I'm going to speed along this video so I don't hostage y'all just looking at a fuckload of numbers for no reason. All right, now so we're going to be looking at Chang Li, and just to explain how this works, you're going to be getting your motion value from your attack, run it through your attack, or motion value from whatever ability you're using, run it through your attack. This right here is our crit multiplier. As you can see, we're hitting an enemy on equal level, so we're going to be doing 50% of the total damage. This is our damage multiplier right here. As you can see, you just take your elemental damage bonus, slap it on with your skill damage bonus, you get this pretty number right here. And since every enemies take 10% damage reduction, you gotta put the 0.9 because we're only going to be doing 90%. As you can see, this is the number that we end up with, 22,415. And you can see this is the other weapon over here, 18,026. Now, this is a 21% damage difference, almost 22. And again, this will like change because obviously the more you're using the character, this number will mean a lot more. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Now, let's take a look at Danjin. As you can see, Danjin's attack is lower. Also, her crit value is lower. That is because Chang Li ascends with crit rate. Danjin gets elemental damage bonus, so you can see she gets a little extra 12 down here that Changli does not have. Just to be clear, just wanted to make sure that's clear for everybody that's seeing it. Also, her attack is lower, and that is because Danjin is a 4-star character, and 4-stars get their goddamn base attack chopped up. It's a bit unfortunate, but that is just how it works in Withering Waves. 4-stars got to be weaker, so people want to buy 5-stars. You can see 24.7% damage difference. Now this is actually quite valuable on this character because she uses a shitload of skills, as we've checked on the other page. So yeah, keep that in mind. This chick is going to be taking full value of this goddamn weapon, and this is a pretty significant number on her. Now we are heading on over to the rovers. As you can see with Spectral Rover, you can see her elemental damage is a bit higher. That's because she gets like 20% Spectro. Obviously, her base attack is higher because she's technically a 5-cost unit, so she gets a higher base attack than the 4-cost. So you can see her attack over here. It's like a nice little number. And overall, we're going to be looking at a 19.3% damage difference. Remember, though, you got to think of how much of her damage is coming from her skill, how much on-field time are you going to be doing with this character. Is it really worth it for this character? I'll leave that up to y'all to decide, or maybe I'll just hit it back at the end of the video and I'll go through all of them one more time. As you can see with Havoc Rover, her attack is like almost the same as Changli. That's because she gets a really good base attack. Her crit multiplier, her crit, yeah, a little bit low. And you can see all her values right here. As you can tell, she gets Havoc bonus for entering her Umbral state. And she gets a little bit extra skill damage. Now, just to be clear, the Rovers are, I'm leaving them at constellations, right? So with Havoc Rover, she's at Constellation 2 or Sequence 2. And with Spectral Rover, she is at 4. Now, I know we can get higher than that, but I'm just going to leave it at that because that's what I know everybody should have. If you've been playing the game, those you should at least have them at 4 and 2, respectively. Now, as you can see, it's only a 17.5% damage gap. The thing with this weapon, though, is you can use it fully because this rover, she takes full advantage of all that damage, and you'll always be able to get it because you hop on her, pop her skill, get your auto attack, and then you're going to be a pretty much max damage stacks, and then you just go into your Umbral state, which resets your skill, and you go in again, right? You're going to be getting full value out of it on her. So her and Danjin so far, the two most important ones that if you want to pull this weapon, or if you get this weapon, they're going to be getting a shitload of value from it. Now to the last two that I really think you shouldn't have to worry about this weapon for. The first one we're going to be looking at is Sanhua. She's getting a 19.3% increase, but this is assuming she is main DPS. We all know Sanhua only gets one cast of her skill, and in her damage or in her rotation where she's buffing your team, she only gets to cast her skill once. You intro, skill, alt, crack the ice, and then you're off, right? So she's not even going to be able to take advantage of this fat damage bonus we're getting here. So I just wanted to be clear, this only works if you're really main DPS Sanhua. I would not recommend pulling for this weapon if you're just running Sanhua as a buffer on your team. It is absolutely not worth it, not even goddamn close. And even as a main DPS, it's not even that bad. This is Umber. This is only skill damage, average skill damage that we're losing here. Everything else will be the exact same as the weapon on the right. Just to be clear, this is only skill damage, just to make sure y'all remember. And Yang Yang, I have no idea what Yang Yang even does because I don't even use her for shit. I do know that her skill is like a little bit of grouping in it. I don't know how much you really use it for damage. I don't know how good of a DPS Yang Yang is. So I just left this here for all the Yang Yang players. Y'all can come to your conclusion on your own. I would say it's not worth it, but I am not a Yang Yang player. I don't think she does most of her damage from her skill. And that's just going off what I've seen from her so far. And now we'll head back to this first slide and we'll just go over it again. The characters that I recommend this on, obviously Changli, tailor-made for her. If you get it, definitely give it to her if it wasn't obvious enough. Now, the next two best ones I would say is going to be Danjin and Havoc Rover. Like I know what's it called? Spectral Rover has 43%, but Spectral Rover won't be able to take advantage of it as much as Havoc Rover can. Havoc Rover and Danjin will pretty much always have that weapon up to max stacks whenever they're doing their damage rotation, or whenever they're doing the damage, they'll always be taking full advantage of it. Now, while Spectral Rover does scale with 43% of her damage being skill damage, I don't think you're going to be able to take full advantage of the weapon. Like if you're on field for a little bit, you will, and it's not nearly as bad as Sanhua and Yang Yang, but it's just not as good as the other two I mentioned, right? And then last but not least, obviously Sanhua, Yang Yang. If you have the weapon, you can put it on them if you don't have a better option, but I would never pull for this weapon for them at all. Absolutely not worth it. And that's pretty much going to be all for this video. Somebody did tell me, was asking me to do a video like this, and if you guys have any ideas for any other videos, please feel free to leave them in the comments, man. because I try to reply and read to all my comments. So I mean, you guys help me out with new video ideas, and helps to get a grasp of what y'all want to see for future videos. All right. Now, if you guys like the video, comment, subscribe if you want to see more like this, so you're going to help out the channel. We've been growing at a disgusting pace recently. We're almost up to 1,000. I think we're almost 900 at the recording of this video, and I'm very grateful. Thank you guys very much for that. I am very, very grateful. And yeah, if you guys can't get in touch with me in the comments, feel free to join the Discord and like DM me here. I try to respond to like all my comments if possible, but I'm not always going to be able to get to all of them, right? So if you want to like get in touch with me, feel free to hop in Discord and drop me a DM. And with that all being said, get y'all in the next video, boys. Peace out.